You get a line, I'll get a pole, honey. You get a line, I'll get a pole, babe. You get a line, I'll get a pole, and we'll go fishing in the crawdad hole, honey, baby mine. Hello, I'm Rick Stivers. I'd like to welcome you to Young Martin's Reels. Today's project is actually going to be kind of this conglomeration here. I got these reels in the mail from Alan, and Alan is having a difficulty with them. He wanted me to see about possibly putting new springs in the bails because his bails were slow to close, or sometimes wouldn't close at all. And I told him my personal opinion before he ever sent them to me was that I don't believe that the springs are bad. I think the problem has to do with lubrication. But when I got the reels in, take a look at them. If you look at that bail, do you see anything even remotely slow about that bail? No? Well, neither did I. So then we took this one here, and well, look at there. It trips over just fine too. All right, and let's take a look at the fluger. Okay, now the fluger seems to have an issue. Yeah, it's not clicking all the way back, and we'll have to see what we can do about that. But now for these two over here, well, my goodness. I'm not sure what more you could want. So after talking to Alan about these, Alan told me that his problem seemed to be in the winter when the weather got cold. So my thought was, okay, well, maybe we need to duplicate the cold. Well, here I am sitting in San Antonio, and it's 92 degrees out here right now. So how do I do that? Well, let's go take a look. Okay, so how do we test whether or not the grease that we have, the grease and oils that we have in a fishing reel is going to cause it to mess up in cold weather? Well, we do this. These two reels here, we're going to take them out. We're going to take them over here and test them. Okay, here's the Mitchell 410A. And it seems to be working. Well, bail's tripping kind of slow. So it has slowed down a little bit. Let's see what we got over here with this Mitchell 300S. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's not tripping at all. It's just making a clicking sound. Okay, so what we're going to do is clean these two up, and you'll see how they work. And then we're going to put them back in the fridge again and see how they work when they come back out. Okay, so we've taken a look at them. We know what's going on with them. We know that they are popping over just fine in this weather, but they're not popping over in cold weather. So that tells me they probably have a lubrication issue. So what we're going to do, I'm not going to tear all three of these down on video here. I'm going to, if I do, it will be in fast forward. So let's take a quick look at these and see what we come up with. Okay, and there we go. All right, so we're going to do a quick disassemble on this Mitchell 300S and take a quick look at it. We're going to replace all the grease and oil in this reel, and then we're going to put it back in the fridge and see if we can cool it down and see what we come up with. But first, we're going to clean everything out and get it ready to go. All right, now part of the problem with this one could be not only is there old grease in here, but there's also sand. So we're going to clean that sand out as we clean this up and see if we can't get that moving better. And get this out with the spring. There we go. All right, there's everything out of it, and we're going to clean it up real good. It's the ends of this are probably what's causing it not to work. And we're going to clean it up, re-lubricate it, and then we're going to put it back into cool and see what happens. Okay, everything else on this reel is cleaned up really well, but this axle shaft here is really kind of corroded up. So I'm going to clean it with my Dremel tool and see if I can't get this corrosion off of it so it'll slide better. All right, it didn't come out perfect, but it sure came out looking a lot better than it did. So there we go. And I think I'm about ready to start putting all this back together again. So we're going to take the main gear and I'm going to grease up the teeth on the gear. And then I'm going to oil the shaft for the crankshaft. And we're going to slide it in. Now as it's going in, we're going to need for the anti-reverse assembly here to go back in. And I think I probably need to get those together outside the unit. There we go, like that. And then slide this back in. There we go. And we've got to get this to come over and go onto that pin right there. There we go. Okay. And there's our anti-reverse. There's this gear. Make sure that those shims have not fallen off of there. And let's go ahead and grease this one up. And this one here. Get it installed. And let's get some grease on it. Well, that's going to bring us to this rotor. Let's go ahead and see about getting the rotor all put back together. Okay, we're going to start off on this side over here. This is where this piece goes in, like so. All right, and Then we've got this spring, and the spring's got to go into that hole right there, like that. And then this assembly has got to go on here. See that hole? Well, that little tag end of the spring has to go into that hole. This ought to be fun. There we go. I think that got in there. Then, let's see. Are we going the wrong way? Yeah, we are going the wrong way with it. Get back in. Like so. There we go. Now we're going the right way with it. Now I got to hold that together while I get that screw put back in. Okay, we're going to put a drop of oil, not grease, but oil on this side over here. Exercise that a little bit. Okay, now we're going to go to the other side and see if we can get this side put back in. Okay, we've got this assembly here. It's got to go in first. It's going to go right here. Oh, flip it over. See this post right here? Well, that post has to go into that slot right there. Like that. Okay. Now it's in the slot. Now we've got a spring that's got to go in there. We're going to do that spring in just a minute. And we're going to take this piece and go ahead and get it mounted properly. Get it in there. Get it into the notch. Right there, like so. Okay, down in there. And we're going to go ahead and put the spring on it, I think. There's the spring. And we're going to hook that up under there like so. There, now the spring is installed. And what we need to do is go ahead and put this cover plate on. And that will hold all that in place like that. And then we can come back and put that other on. Okay. This one in first. All right, now we're ready to put this spring back on. And it's got to turn clockwise. Okay. Get the spring to go in the hole. Come on. There we go. Go ahead and rotate it a little bit clockwise. Feel the tension on it. And now we'll put the screw back in. Okay, now that trips. And we'll go back and we're going to add a little bit of oil to that. And we're going to put just a little dab of grease right in there. There's the trip. Okay. Now we can fit this back in, like so. And then this will be able to hook back up. Okay, we're going to put a drop of oil on the threads here, just to help keep it from corroding back. All right. I believe we have a viable trip again. Okay, on this side over here, there was a shim washer. Goes right there. All right. Let's continue putting this together. I'll go ahead. We have a little super thin shim here. It goes on there, like so. And we're going to put a little dab of grease here, not a lot, but a little dab of grease. And we'll slide this back on here. And now, here's all this stack of shims. And they go in here, like so. Although I really think they were the other way around, with the plastic one up top. Okay, like so. And then goes this guy here. And he's got a little tab. It has to go into that little slot right there so that it's indexed correctly. There we go. And now we're going to put that on. Okay. All right. There, we're catching just slightly, and we shouldn't be. This might have got bent down a little bit. Let's bend it up just a hair. There we go. It's got to come up just enough to not be touching. There we go. No click. But there's our trip. All right. So, I'm going to come back now, and we're going to oil this axle shaft, spool shaft as some people want to call it. And let's slide this in, like so. And we're going to come back to here. We've got to put this guy in. Okay. And this one goes in here like so. All right. And we've got 2 screws that go in there. One for each side. You got to get them both started before putting either one of them all the way down. And I'm going to put a little dab of grease on the end of the screwdriver to hold this in place while I get this screw put in. Okay, that's got that in. Now we're going to grease along this plate because this plate's going to go in next, and it has to, that pin has to go into that hole down there, right there, like that. Okay, and we'll dab a little more grease in here, and let's go ahead and put some grease on the pinion. There we go. Now we're going to put this guy in, and he goes in so that when he's in properly, you can rotate this all the way around like that. If you rotate it all the way around and it doesn't go up and down all the way, then you don't have it in right. All right, now we're going to grease up this gear. And we should be ready to put the side plate back on. Okay, and it works best if you kind of stand these two up side by side like this to put this on. There we go. Oh, we're missing something. The old Mitchell 300s don't have this. The new ones do. Okay. There we go. Gasket goes in, then it all goes together. Let's put some grease along the edge of this to help hold it in place. Okay, set the gasket on. Then we'll set this back in place, like so. And that did not go because this gear fell off again. Let's put some more grease on the back side of this one to help kind of keep it glued in place here. There we go. Now, let's see about getting this in. There we go. Okay, looking good so far. Let's put a drop of oil on these threads because they're looking a little crusty. There we go. And let's see if this needs to be cleaned up any. Okay. That's not too bad. Drop of oil and a drop of oil. There we go. And a drop of oil in the end of the knob. Okay. Take a quick look inside the spool. And we're looking pretty crusty in there too. A lot of sand in there, folks. Okay, there we have it all lubed up, ready to go. Let's see how the drag is here. Okay, and right now it's tripping beautifully. Let's put it in the fridge and find out how it turns out. Okay, now let's see about taking this bale apart and getting it serviced. This is the one that works, it just doesn't work as well as it should when it's cold. And that just means to me it just needs oil in here, but we need to get all the old grease out first. And if you notice there's tension on this bale because it's been out of shape. Okay, so we're going to need to fix that a little bit. We can take care of that though. All right, let's come take care of this side. Okay, let's see if we can't get this cleaned up. So there we go. There, yeah. So now this one's working beautifully too, and I'm going to put it over there in the fridge and see how it turns out too. Let's see if we have solved the problem. Okay, this one has been in the deep freeze for about 2.5 hours, and it's nice icy cold. And let's see how it works. Look at that. No laziness on that bell whatsoever. Okay, so I think we've proven on this one anyway that that was the issue, that it was the grease and oil in the bale that was keeping it from operating properly. And I've got the other one in the deep freeze now, and I'll pull it out in the morning and we'll see how it does. And the Pflueger, we're going to do a whole separate video on that one, if I can find a number on it somewhere so I know what it is I'm dealing with. Just so far, it just says Pflueger. There it is. Tryon GX7. So yeah, we're going to do a video on this one. So watch for that. All right, the Mitchell 410A spent the night in the deep freeze, and let's see if it affected it. Okay, I would say that with proper lubrication, which it now has, that that bell will operate perfectly. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. And keep an eye out for this Pflueger Tryon GX7. And we'll be on to it soon. For now, that's Rick Stivers, signing out.